Today's Halloween comic review for the month of October. I put out two today because I forgot to post the one yesterday I had done. So there's two coming out on this day. But this is EC Comics, The Crypt of Terror, issue 1. And I like how we got our different witches, Crypt Keeper. We got the Crypt Keeper, the Old Witch, and the Vault Keeper all in here representing different stories, which is nice. I love the werewolf cover. Those are always. All these have pretty interesting covers with them. That's done by Jack Davis. Um, we got the Crypt of Terror. Welcome, you dear little morbid monsters, to my new terror title. EC's gruesome threesome is now a revolting foursome, as the Crypt of Terror joins with the Vault of Horror, the Haunt of Fear, and Tales from the Crypt, to bring you heaping helpings of horror in the oft imitated EC tradition. I trust you'll be amply sickened by the latest collection of cadaverous cavortings. As of now, all is at peace at the EC offices. But I expect trouble when the vault keeper and the old witch realize that I now have two muckmags to their one. Oh well, there's no use slaughtering your chickens before you come to the burned bridges. So come into the Crypt of Terror, and your host in howls and heaves, your crypt keeper, will launch my new nauseating newsprint narcotic with the blood-curdling, spine-tingling yelp yarn I call Upon Reflection. There we got our little narrators all together in one spot, showing off the variety of comics that they represent. And we start out with this Upon Reflection story where we see a character that's out and about hunting down a werewolf because someone from his life has been taken away, and so he's assumes it was the werewolf that got a hold of her because she was basically maimed on the streets, and he gets a couple shots off at the werewolf, but is not using silver bullets when he does it. So he goes back into town, explains what he's been doing to everybody. Everybody else starts talking up what's going on, and they sit there and get a hold of the mayor because they want the mayor to start doing something, get something going on this whole problem that's causing people to die. Uh, Pretty much every full moon, and I suppose I can spoil these fully because they're pretty much old reprints that we've all read these stories before, many of us at least, and pretty much can guess where they're going. But in this one, we find out that the mayor is the werewolf. So basically, the town is not in good hands. The second story is Blind Alleys. This this one basically you see a fat cat that's running. Well, they make it sound like a prison, but it's basically a boarding house type style thing for people that are blind, and the guy just treats them like crap, trips them, abuses them, and he notices that they're getting pretty fed up with his actions, so he gets himself dog that he a mean dog that he brings to any confrontation with the blind people. So he's doesn't get attacked or anything, and he's got protection. The dog will attack anything that attacks him. So eventually, the blind people are so fed up with what's going on, they catch the dog, get the dog put into a containment area by giving it the few scraps that they could set aside since they aren't being fed the way they're supposed to, aren't being treated the way they're supposed to. And then eventually the landlord is coming in and calling for his dog that he sent outside because the lady that he went to see uh, was worried about the dog being in her office. So he put the dog outside, and that's how the dog got caught. I got like a hair somewhere. I can feel it. Or I got a new, the old German hair growing out of somewhere. But he gets put into a containment unit. The blind people build a whole maze throughout the building and end up putting him in there. And again, this is a story that we've seen done in a variety of ways, but when they make the maze, the boarded walls are just full of razor blades. Eventually, they release the dog, who's very hungry, into the maze to chase after him, and then they shut the lights out so he's as blind as they are, and he's got to try and escape through the maze of walls of razor blades while the dog's also chasing after him. Then we got Success Story. In this story, we see a older couple offer to give $1,000 to their daughter and her new husband to help them out because her husband's not providing the way they wish he would. And that also sets them in debt. So they work out a thing where they can live with the younger couple. And while they're there, all they do is constantly get on her husband about finding a job, making or a job that's worth doing. His current job, they're trying to get him to request a raise, and he just gets sick of them constantly berating him, constantly pushing him, trying to get him to do better. And throughout this whole time, they're only asking for little things like a TV to watch and all that stuff, but he's not able to afford to do things that they want him to do. And so eventually he fights back and gets ahead in his own way. Hey, you can pretty much figure out what happened just by me giving those little hints and clues. And then the Witch's Cauldron had her up. We got an old, creepy, scary looking lady that a young guy finds out from an older gentleman that she's apparently got like I think it's 100 grand or something put away. She's a rich old lady, so he goes and plays with her affection and marries her for her money, and he starts searching the house, the attic, the basement, just going through the house, tearing things up, trying to find where the money is. And this whole time, there's that old guy that told him that she was rich. Comes to her, it seems like almost every day, but comes to see her and picks up rags that picks up somewhere. I don't know where she goes because she'll leave the house and she'll come back with some rags, and then he'll come and she'll sell him the rags, and he gives her good money for them. And then we find out that after the guy, her husband, kills her off so he can just spend his time hunting for the money. He basically keeps seeing the rag man. Rag man keeps coming to the house requesting more rags. He gave what he could give, could find in the house, and just gave it to the guy because they weren't that good. Then the guy's like, well, you could give me the rags off her back. So, but then we see the rag man basically kind of repeating himself, kind of like creepy-ish. The guy, the husband, just basically wants to take him out and be done with him, so he stops coming to the house, and he doesn't have no more rags. But we find out that the old man has a thing for the old lady, likes her a lot, and just wanted her to be happy. So that's why when he seen a young guy, told him that she had 100 grand put away, stashed away, or whatever, and that's why he decided to marry her. And then, of course, things happen in the end, and everybody in every story gets their little payback for all the evil that they have done. So, but EC Comics always good for a horror story. Only problem is I read so many of these that I'm looking for some new versions of old stories would be nice. But that was the Crypt of Terror, issue 1. A little werewolf, a little abusive landlord, a little abusive husband, a little bit of payback for everyone. So check those out. Yeah, lots of EC Comics reprints out there, and now EC Comic within the past couple of years has rebooted and been doing newer books that have been very interesting, very enjoyable. So that is today's Halloween comic review, and we will be back with another one tomorrow. And the next day, and the next day, and the next day, all the way up to the 31st. I got a nice stack of ones to read, so keep an eye out. Keep following under Call Love MS. Rate, review, subscribe, tell a friend, give us those likes, leave a comment. I'll comment back. Check out Crimson Color Comic Club. Check out Psychotronic Squirt Guns Monday, 5 p.m. live claim sale. Uh, and we'll be back with more of these soon. Thanks. Bye.